Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. The V with the platform of qnet presents to you Talk of the Town. And now it's time for the moment you have all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our host of Talk of the Town, the one and only, the partner, Sathi Senathirajah.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm very excited to talk to you today because we have three fantastic guests, three superpowers, three AVPs, which is going to expand your mind and amaze you. Okay, I'm talking to you all the way from Dubai. I'm very excited. I left Malaysia and came to Dubai after 2 years being in a lockdown. So it's a totally different feeling. Things are here is almost as 100% normal. I'm excited to meet the networkers here. And I'm excited now to talk to you and to invite my three guests, which firstly, from Kenya, Africa. She has been with us for so many years. She has been a rock for the founders and the V. Please help me welcome Associate V Partner, Asha Krishnan.
Thank you.
And hi Asha, good morning.
Good morning, VP Sathi.
What's the time now in Kenya?
The time is 6 in the evening, 6 p.m. in the evening.
So it's still early for you.
Yes, it is. Okay,
let me invite the other two ladies. My second guest is all the way from Indonesia and Australia. One of Dato Sri's warriors who has been with us also for a very, very long time and started very young in the business. And now she's also a powerhouse. Please help me welcome Associate V Partner, Cynthia Nilam. Cynthia, good morning.
Good morning, VP Sathi.
I understand it's 2 a.m. for you.
Yes, that's right. Australia time.
Yeah, so I hope you can keep up with us for the next
Definitely.
1.5 hours. Okay.
No problems. I'm the in-service.
All right, let's invite the final guest from India and Dubai, who is the upline of a huge network all around the world. Okay, one of the brilliant leaders and speakers that I've met. Please help me welcome Associate V Partner, Yashu Tyagi. Okay,
So much. Good morning, VP Sathi.
welcome Yashu. Welcome ladies. Thank you for accepting my invitation to be on Talk of the Town.
Thank you so much, VP Sathi. In fact, it is really very great to share screen with all of you. Thank you so much.
I'm
Thank you so
honored
much.
as well. I'm honored as well to share the screen with you. And today we're just going to have a chat because we have thousands of people tuned in wanting to learn from your experience, and that's what is so valuable that we are able to share this evening with thousands of people all over the world. So let's start by you introducing yourselves and how many years you've been in the business. And because there are some new IRs here who maybe haven't met you because they signed up after the pandemic and they never got a chance to meet each one of you face to face. So it'll be nice to introduce yourself so they know that who you are. So we start with you, Asha.
Thank you so much, VP Sathi. Now, my name is Asha, and I've been in this business for the last 16 years. I've actually completed 16 amazing years in this business. And it's just been a fantastic journey. I come from Kenya, and I'm doing the business not just alone, also with my whole family. So that's how much I value this business.
Thank you, Asha. Cynthia?
Hello, VP Sathi. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Cynthia. I joined qnet in year 2000. So it's been 21 years of journey, and I can't get enough of this amazing life journey with qnet and the V.
Excellent. And Yashu?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yashu, and I started this business in 2012. And when I started this business, I was pursuing my MD pathology final year. I am a doctor by profession. I have done MBBS, and after that, I was doing MD pathology. And when I got this opportunity, I started this business as a hot zone signer. And basically, I belong to Delhi and now settled in Dubai. And approximately, it's been for me 9 years in the business.
Yashu, not many people are as smart as you. Can you explain what anti-pathology is?
Pathology means when you do the blood examination, when you
study of blood.
Study of bloods and the organs, when you examine them and you tell what the pathology is, what the person is suffering from. Basically, that the blood and the urine examination and the organ examination is pathology.
So among the 4 of us on this call, only you can find a cure for COVID.
Hopefully.
Okay. Now I want you all 3 of you to just relax. We're just going to have a chat, just talking among the 4 of us. Forget about the people watching. They don't matter now. We are just talking among each other. If they want to listen, they can listen. Okay, so we just concluded a fantastic event, the VCC, and I'm sure that everyone is still on fire because of that. But the 3 of you, what were your key learnings? Anyone can start.
Can I start, VP Sathi?
Yeah.
Yeah, the VCon, as always, VCon is one event which has, I have no words to describe what the VCon is. Basically, when I started my business and I had, I was given in this business as a hot zone position, and hot zone means I was not aware what this business is all about. And I know the kind of a person I was when I started this journey. I was very introvert, and it is very difficult for me to talk to people and bring a relationship between us. So it was very difficult for me. And when I got to know about this project, I was very excited about this project, but I had a real doubt in my mind whether I would be able to do it. Because, in this business, you need to talk to people. And that was my main inhibition. I cannot talk to people. But when I attended VCon in 2012, the one session by VP Padma blew my mind. And there I decided, what if I don't have a name list, if I don't have a dream list, if I have a hunger to upgrade my life and to move forward, then I can also do this business. And the impression of VCon I carry forward, and I am whatever I am today is because of VCon. And this VCon also, Chief is always fabulous, your session, I got many learnings, but one thing I want to say to each one of us, this is an amazing opportunity which we have got, by name of qnet or by name of, whatever opportunity, whatever name you want to give, but this is the opportunity and we all have got this. This is not the coincidence we are part of this project. And if we are part of this project, we should do this business by heart, because it has no logic. If you really wants to be successful, do it with your heart and don't give up. This is one learning which I got from BCC.
Okay. Asha?
Okay, I fully agree with what AVP Yashu said. Now, I would say I'm a product of VCon, because when I joined qnet in 2005, online platform was not that much popular in Africa. So me doing this business online, even I personally had doubts, because I'd never seen anyone, physically. There was nobody doing in my region where I could actually compare. I used to hear about Ethiopia doing well, Sudan doing well, but there was no direct, visibility, what we could actually see that what these people are doing. So I went to VCon with so much of great difficulty. I remember I borrowed money to go there. And when I went there, that was a turning point in my life, because I knew nothing. Let me say it openly that I had doubts, because I'd never seen who are these people. And when I went for VCon, what changed me and what made me follow this business to this day with 100% conviction was when Dato Shri came on the stage. And till today, I remember the opening statement of the VCon in 2005, and that was in Thailand. And Dato Shri said, if you are here without your values and integrity, you have come to the wrong place. Because for our business, for you to succeed, you must have values and integrity, and you must be not only committed to yourself, but you must, your success is based on the people that you bring in. So if you don't have integrity, please take the next flight and go back home. Now, for me, this is not something that I expected to hear from a VCon, understand? And I think every time I attend a VCon, this just reinforces what I knew from 2005 till today. And that is the reason why I'm there. So what I would tell everybody there, that VCon is a place that you find yourself. That's where you actually know who is the owner, or who runs this company, what values do they run this company on. And VP Sathi, from that day till today, I've never looked back. Because this word of Dato, if you don't have values, please take the next flight back home, still keep resonating with me. And even when I do my business, wherever I am, I always remember those words, that no matter where you are, remember that you have to build this business to 100% and have commitment, not only to the company, but to the people that you bring into the business. For me, that's something that always gets reinforced every time that I'm actually attending VCon.
Wow, thank you. Cynthia?
Yes, thank you, VP Sathi. VCon for me, the first time was, I can't remember which year, but there were not that many people. There were no VCon like what we have today. And I remember that, coming to VCon, everything was still manual. The translations was manual. There's no translation booth. There's no stage, there was really just a built-in stage, like the wedding stage. But I remember that, the day when I came to VCon for the first times, I was only wanted to meet who is the man behind qnet, the person who made my father fall in love with. So, I came there as a teenager, and amazingly, I think it's God's master plan that I was called upon the stage to translate that Master Dato Sri at the time, on his I think day one speech. And what I remembered that day, VP Sathi, was that I was crying. I didn't know why, but I was crying. And I remember that, in translating that this company, that this qnet is planning to stay for the next 25 years, and then the next 25 years, and then the next 25 years. And when I translated that, VP Sathi, it touched my heart. I never felt the heart. So for me, VCon was always been, finding back the heart, because a lot of things happening in lives, and sometimes, when we face challenges, we always wondering whether, are we on the right track? Can we still do it? You see, because life is not always high, life is always, go up and down. But coming back to VCon, it's like a reminder, it's a renewal for, the purpose of why am I doing what I'm doing. And I think it's very important. A lot of us forgetting about, why we choose QNet at the first time. So coming back to VCon always reminded to me that I have a very clear destinations the day when I joined QNet. And I remember, very clearly the day when I joined VCon for the first time, that I want to make a change in this life, that I want to become better, and I can be better. And I remember the final message of Master Dato Sri, I think this one back, 18 years ago, maybe 19 years ago. I remember I got a chance to speak to Master Dato Sri, and I asked him, how should I do this business QNet if I want to be successful, to be rich, to be wealthy? And then I remember this message very clearly, and I use this as my principle of my daily life, is that live your life as if you have only 7 days to live. Wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what if I only have 7 days to live? And it works. Every morning I wake up, when I was brushing my teeth, I always ask myself that, if I only have 7 days to live, all the challenges that I face, it's not going to matter anymore. So for me, VP Sathi, VCon is a renewal of why I am here, a revivals, so that, I always see possibilities. The day when I felt that, is it possible? When coming back to VCon, I see possibilities. I saw a lot of testimonies of great people. And these people are the people that I know, together being in service on the ground. And they made it, it's amazing. And the last, for me, it's always a reborn. It's a reborn day. It's,
Okay,
it's that fire.
Let me ask
Yeah.
you three this question. After VCon, there is a fire inside of you, right? You're energized, you're excited, you switched on. How long does this normally last?
Yes, VP Sathi.
Your own personal experience, how long does this last? Because some people attend VCon, after 1 week, they're back to normal. The fire is gone. Some people 3 months, some people 6 months. So I want to know generally for the three of you, how long does VCon effect last for you?
VP Sathi, actually, I wanted to add, when you asked that question, it is very important when we attend the VCon. We think we'll go to VCon and everything will gonna change. Important is, am I ready to change or not? Because if I enter the VCon and, this VCon was for day 3, it was of 3 days VCon. And there are many decisions which I took on day 1, day 2, day 3. Now, whether am I committed to those decisions or not decision, that matters. And energy is obviously high, and this energy will keep on decreasing. Now, if I really want to maintain that energy, it is my decision. I should be in contact with my working upline, whether I'm talking to my working upline daily or not, whether I'm connected to my team daily or not. Because, that rut, go to work, come back home, go to work, come back home, that rut is so strong. If I go into that rut, and I'll completely out of the energy which I got in the VCon. So to maintain that energy, I have to be with my working upline daily, in and out. And I should give a trespass to my upline. My goal is this. Whenever we are out of the VCon, we sit with working upline and set the goal. This is my goal. I say to my working upline, and I allow my working upline to push me to the core so that I achieve my goal. And it completely depends upon me. This is what I feel, because in 2012, I took a decision to change my life. And the same trespass I gave to my working upline, you be after my life till the time I achieve my goal. So this is what I feel with this, Sathi.
Asha, what do you think, Asha?
Okay, for me, attending VCon reminds me of my childhood days. When I talk about childhood days, basically is when I got into the business, the fire I had in terms for me to succeed. Because as you know, VP Sathi, I come from a very challenging background. When people talk about challenges in life, I can't connect with them because my challenges were so much bigger. I lived a life that was absolutely fake in terms, I didn't have an identity because I had to live all my life pretending that I went to school when I knew very well I didn't go. I could not even face my own upline VP Cherian to tell him the truth. You understand? So when I come for VCon, or when I came, any VCon that I've attended actually brings back that childhood in me, which when I came, there was so much that urge to succeed. And so when I went out to the field, it was full swing and nobody can stop me because if I remember my first VCon was when I went back to Kenya, and I had done so many presentations before that. But when I went back, it was no longer the same. Nobody could stop me. There was no stopping. I didn't care what people thought. I didn't care what people say. Now, once you grow in this business, when you come to a level you think you have achieved a certain level of success, though maybe not enough, for me, just like other people, I tend to kind of take not the same fire. You understand? I mean, as I go along, my fire reduces. Maybe I feel the team is there and I don't have to do as much as I did in the first VCon. But every time I attend a VCon, there's that fire, that urge to go back and be who I am and do as much as I can. And like Yashu said, unless you go back and get involved, again, you'll go back to the same thing. And from my own experience, because I have little success, unlike my first, second, third VCon, I could easily slide back. So what I do is I maintain that energy, because when I attend a VCon, even today, I attend as a new student, someone who's never been there before. That means I'm attending the VCon for the very first time. And because I sit with that thought of doing it for the first time, I maintain that longer by going out and doing as much as I can so that I utilize that energy, because there's so much of energy when you come for VCon. There's so much of feelings that come out that sometimes you've been holding. And when you come to VCon, it's like a mirror in front of you. You understand? And so I have to work on myself when I come out, and I use that energy to sustain me for a while. But yes, we need another VCon, I think, every 3 months, because there is a tendency that if things don't go your way, then you tend to, again, slow down, even for us, I mean, personally for me. So for me, VCon is very important because at least it gives me energy to sustain me, because I'm always going back to my childhood and believing that is my first day of listening to whatever is happening.
Okay. And yes, Cynthia,
yes,
go ahead.
and for me, the first few VCons, I got cold feet very easily. Maybe 2 months, 3 months down the track, then I got back to the to the daily routines. But the more I attended VCons, and I believe that it's so many VCons that I attended, it could be like twice a year. I'm getting better. I'm getting better in maintaining the energy throughout the whole year. But I agree with what AVP Yashu and also AVP Asha said. I mean, we're only human beings and we face challenges every single day. So that fire, you will feel it, very strongly in the beginnings of after VCon. And I guess that, by making a 3P, by making a preparation and planning for the next 52 weeks until the next VCon is happening, it's very important. I always posted, my 52 weeks planned on my bed, next to my bed, so that I remember that fire. And then, just if there's a time when I feel a bit slack off, then as what AVP Yashu said, go and find your mentor, because it's, it's always good to actually having somebody behind you, knowing that, this person's gonna, fire you up, and that helps a lot.
Okay.
And yes, I agree. We need more VCons every 3 months. Thank you.
Okay. Now, the 8 basic building blocks, right?
Yes.
Which is your favorite block and why?
I like the first block.
Okay. Why?
For me, it's the why. I think that in life, to inspire me to do something, to make me wanting to do something, it has to be the why. And then the rest just follow.
Okay. The rest of you?
I have a long story, VP Sathi, for this, because when I started this business, everything was going fine. And one thing which changed my whole life was deciding, to marry a person of my own choice, which is Vijesh, And that was a decision, before that, my father was supporting me in each and everything. And when I was doing my MD pathology, me and my father has a one dream to open a hospital and I'll take care of the hospital. That is the reason I took up pathology. But when I went to medical college and I met Vijesh and I decided to marry him, everything for me changed. My father stopped supporting me financially. Obviously, I also didn't have a guts to go and ask money for him. And when we got married, he only told me one thing: see, I don't have anything related to your love marriage. I don't have any, you don't need to worry about the caste, but I have one problem. And the issue is, while being in a job, you guys would not be able to meet your both ends. That would be really very difficult. Now you're thinking my life would be very beautiful after marriage and after working in a hospital, but I know what the life is all about. And VP Sathi, it took me 3-4 months and I realized my father was correct. And this business came to me because I was asking from God for an opportunity through which I can work, and one day my father will come and say, I'm proud of you. That was one thing. And when I hear about the dream, I simply, the one thing which happens in my mind is, today my father, I can, sense that happiness on his face. And today, he doesn't say I'm proud of you, but I know he feels he's proud of you. And after, in February, he came to my Dubai house, and, me and my father, we both had the tears of happiness. So dream is all about. And
okay, Asha, you also block number 1, or you have a different block?
No, of course, the block number 1 is extremely important for me as well, because that's what keeps me grounded. I mean, the very reason I'm here is because I also have dreams. And time comes that when things are difficult, these dreams sometimes just keep moving away and you accept what you have. So the dreams, of course, is important for me because it keeps me, my why, stronger. But along with that, also, I think writing the list, because for many of us, including me, it comes to a point that you've been in this business so long that you feel there's no more list. So now I'm waiting for luck so that when I travel, I sit next to someone, or because I'm not a techie person, I'm not an online person who can be on prospecting people online. I can't do that. So for me, making the list and going over again and again and keeping my mind challenged to there are more people out there that haven't reached. So that for me also is a very important block, because I cannot achieve my dreams if I don't have a list, because a list is the main thing for me to have in order for me to achieve my dreams. So those two, of course, for me are very important.
Okay, which is your least favorite block? Everybody has a least favorite block, I know. So which is yours, Cynthia?
I think the presentation. No. Before that.
Prospecting and inviting.
Yes.
Inviting. Many people don't like inviting. Okay. Then Yashu?
Yeah.
Because I think every block, in the initial stages, the block which was difficult was name list. The list was difficult for me, but now every block is really very important.
I didn't ask which is important. I know everything is important. I asked which is your least favorite.
In the initial stages, name list.
Name list. And Asha?
I think for me, the closing part, the follow-up and closing, that where you have to keep on following people again and again, it comes to a point sometimes there's that feeling, oh my God, am I lowering myself so much? Am I looking too desperate? So I think that's the one I have a problem with.
Yeah, I think most people most people don't like inviting and prospecting and following up. Because that's when they face the rejections, and after some time, they really don't like doing this block, but from my experience, if you slowly start enjoying all the blocks, then the business becomes much easier.
Doable.
Now, another thing that a lot of people, I've heard this many times, women are better networkers than men. Now, do you agree? And if you agree, why?
Okay,
yes.
Cynthia, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I put a lot of thoughts in these questions because a lot of people ask me, Cynthia, when I want to recruit somebody, should I recruit men or women? Honestly, I see in terms of how good they are, which one better, I think they're the same. It's always better when somebody comes to qnet with a strong reason, with a strong, why. You see, rather that, it's either it's a man or women. You see, but see, with women, I think women have this, what we call a mother power, naturally, because I think that every man and woman on earth comes from a woman. See, so, for instance, that if a woman put in the situations where they have a child, naturally, even though no matter how young they are, their mothers were only like 14, 13 even. But, naturally, they just learn how to become, a good taker, a good carer. But, again, man's also there to, to take care of women. Yeah, so, it's something hard, but I think that, a person who have a strong why will become a greater networker.
Okay, Asha, you were saying?
Yes, for the longest period, my network was made up of only women. Even when I grew so big, they were all women. And I remember there was a time VP Donna had come to Kenya and she asked me, Asha, don't you have men in your country? And now what, they all used to ask that because everybody was a woman. But coming from this region, especially Kenya, maybe even East Africa, you find women are more, they're willing to take what we call in our region, small hustles, means they're willing to take up small businesses, which is not very common with men. So I found it easier to prospect women because they are willing to try something new or even to get involved because they're always doing, especially in Africa, you'll find it's mostly women who go out there. Men have a fixation. That means if they're in a good job, they don't want to look side. They say they cannot, how they say men cannot focus on two things at the same time. So that's why I think my network was mostly on women who are willing to be in a job, be a mother, and also try something new like network marketing. But from what I've seen is that men also can be very good networkers because if a man takes it seriously, then there's no turning back. Where women, because we handle so many things at the same time, you find they get distracted much faster. Yes, it's easy to get them in the business, but the distraction is more. And of course, for the obvious reason, being mothers, wives, sisters, daughters, they can't stay home. I mean, they can't stay out late. And as you know, in our business, every time we had our meetings, if my upline VP Cherian came, the meetings were always late and women could never really, they had a challenge back home, why they are coming late. Nobody could understand why we have sessions at night and so on. And I think that was one of the main challenges that maybe faced women in my region in staying strong networkers and commit 100% because of the family needs back home. But men, of course, didn't have that because they could go home anytime, and so it was not a problem. But of course, yes, I had a bigger network of women more because they were more accepting to the industry and, of course, trying something new to bring some money back home.
Okay. You have anything to add, Yashu?
VP Sathi, I feel both are equal. Nobody is less, nobody is great. Both are equal. Both of them have their weakness, have their, strength. Women can also do the same thing which men can do, but women also need to believe in their mind they are also no less. Problem happens when women think, we cannot do this work, we cannot do that work, only a male can do. No, women and male both are equal, both are equally perfect. Only one thing which female by giving birth, men, otherwise both are equal. This is the only difference. I don't believe in.
Okay. Now, I think nowadays, a lot of more younger people are joining the network, correct? Compared to in the early days of Asha. Nowadays, a lot of young people, in Cynthia's network in Indonesia, is full of young, I don't know what they call it now, Gen Z or millennials, I have lost count, okay? And Yashu also, I'm sure now Asha, you're starting with Swarna's team and all that. But young people, they at a young age, they don't want to start a business yet. They want to still enjoy life, explore life, enjoy with their friends. How do you inspire young people? What do you tell them to take this business seriously? And we'll start with you, Cynthia, since you have the biggest millennial group.
How to inspire them? They are inspired already. That's what I find every time I speak to the younger generations, so-called 18 to, below 30 years old, they are inspired by, I think social medias, they're inspired by a lot of stories on the internet about how successful somebody can be. So it's kind of something that already been instilled in their mind that to be successful in the young age, it's possible. So that really, when you have this opportunity for them to chase their dreams, it's just meet in the middle. And yeah, and it's just happened naturally. You see, the only problems with the younger generations is that, if they want to start early in their lives, then they didn't have backgrounds, they didn't have experience, and definitely they didn't have money. You see, like students, they haven't got a chance to go to work, like 18 years old. So they have these dreams and they have this willingness to start their, just say qnet business. But then, the challenges is that where can I get the capital to start with?
Okay.
So yes, that's the challenges among the younger generations. But once they're in, they're full of fire.
Interesting. Yashu?
VP Sathi, the best thing is since they are young and they have got this opportunity, they can fully utilize this opportunity in fulfilling their dreams, in taking care of their family. But one thing they need to, feed in their mind is don't do certain things, because if they, get engaged in alcohol, if they get engaged in smoking, if they get engaged with, with the relationship here and there, they will ruin everything. Now, if they have this platform, utilize this platform to upgrade their family's life, to fulfill their parents' dream. Because if they are getting this business at the age of 25, 26, by 40 years of age or by 30 years of age, they will be millionaire. And that is the best thing which they have. But because of the small enjoyment here and there, enjoyment also happens when they help one needy person to upgrade his life, to feed a poor person, to take care of the person who is not getting education. That is also enjoyment. So what I can say, by my experiences, enjoy these things. Don't get into the things which are not acceptable, because one or the other time they will realize themselves what they are doing. So better is to focus on the right thing. Best example is Chief. Chief has told many times, the Chief, what he was, in his 20s, and the person he is now, the reference point is Chief. So follow him 100%. This is what I can say.
Okay.
What I can say about the youth, actually, when I look at the youth of today, unlike us when we are young, they need much more.
You're still young, Asha. Asha, you're still young.
Yes, young at heart, but the numbers are moving up. Of course, now what I was saying is that the youth of today, unlike the youth of the past, their needs are much, much higher. And I believe their parents cannot support those needs. Like if you look those days, a person who buy a car would be maybe an older person, 40, 50. That's the time they look at a car as a priority. But today, if I look at even Kenya, you find as soon as they get their first job, they're already looking for a loan to buy their first car. Maybe they're 21 or 22. So they're the ones who actually need this business more than anybody else. And the other thing that I think for the youth that works today, if I look at my country, back Kenya, getting a job is not easy. A lot of people have degrees, but they're just marking. There's no job offering. I mean, there are no jobs in the market at all. So I mean, promoting this business is the only business that is there that I know that actually can offer them their needs. Forget even about looking after their parents, which comes secondary to them. They are what they want. Those flashy things they want in life, they cannot get that today with any job that they get. First of all, those jobs are not there. So our industry becomes extremely important for the youth because they are the ones who can fulfill their basic initial needs, which are quite high if you compare with the past with our industry. So
Okay,
I think
excellent.
it's not, yes.
VP Sathi, there is one more thing I would like to add, if you allow me.
Yes.
If they can work on 3 parameters: trust, loyalty, and honesty, to their network, to their parents, to themselves, to the company. If they follow these things, they can reach the sky. This is all I wanted to say.
Exactly.
Okay. I think we're going to take a 5-minute break now so they can fill up. You can change a glass of water or fill up some coffee, and then I'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, and welcome back to Talk of the Town. Asha and Cynthia. Okay, welcome back, ladies. Okay, now let's talk about this whole COVID thing for a while. When COVID first started, were you all worried about sustaining your networks? And what was your plan of action in the early days, March 2020, I think, yeah. When the lockdowns all started happening, where you could not have physical meetings, you could not have systems, were you worried that you couldn't sustain your network? And what was your immediate plan of action?
Worried, yes, of course. But again, I know that the whole world are in worried. So it's like, if we go down, we go down together. So it's about the race of, getting up again. But it's also something interesting and exciting to always find something new. And I think that that's one thing that put us back closer again, me and my leaders. Yes, and it's been a journey. We close to 2 years now throughout this COVID. What I feel is that we are stronger. We get more understanding to one another even better, and I believe that if we're not pushed to the edge, people hardly change. But because of these situations that we are pushed so much to the edge, that we come up with something more creative, something new, and something transform. So, it's a great transformation. So yes, I worried in the beginning, but thanks God that COVID is actually, help us to change. Thank you.
Asha?
I would say COVID was a wake-up call. When COVID hit, I was not even in the country for 7 months. I mean, my base, which is Kenya, I was in India, which means whatever I did, because I was in India to attend to Swana's, my daughter Swana, BC Swana had a lot of back problem. So I'd been in India for 7 months. That means I was completely away from the network when it came to physical. And the only communication that was there was, of course, either online. So when COVID hit, of course, it was a double hit for me now. One, I was thinking that I was already away from the network for very long. And now something new has come up called COVID. And first, I didn't even know if I was going to get stuck in India or I was going to make it back home. But by God's grace, I took a decision and took the last flight that left India for Kenya. And I made it. And yes, when I came, that worry was there. For me, the worry was much more because already away from the network for 7 months. Now there's something new. And of course, I was looking at my age and I think till today, maybe I look at my age that I'm not young. And so I cannot expose myself. I won't even attempt to go out there and talk to people. But of course, that has always taught us about adapt and all that. And we had to all adapt to a new way of communication, which was Zoom. And I think Zoom came timely. Personally, and because of I use this as a limitations was, I'm not really a techie person, so I need help. But when I need help, of course, I have people who help me to chat out my program online. Of course, now coming from Africa, and I think a lot of people who are online here might be able to connect with this, is that when it comes to internet, we have very poor internet service. And for those who do have internet service, they say it's very expensive. So you find sometimes you are presenting or you're talking to people online, but their screen is off, that because they cannot sustain the internet with that. But I think for me, that only proves that we need to do much more with whatever we have. And COVID has taught us that we can't take things for granted. At least for our industry, one thing that was good was is that we can still continue. We didn't have to look for new ways of doing this business because our business was already online. You understand? So people already doubted what we did. Now, I found in my country, everybody who was not online was looking for a way to plug in and start selling whatever they have through the internet. Using the same platform that we were in. So for me, I think it was also, I would say it was a blessing in disguise because people saw that we were not a fraud just because we were operating online. Today, everybody, if you want to survive today, you have to be online. There's no any other way. And of course, we make plans. And so if we call people online to have our meetings online or even presentations online, people don't doubt why are you not in a physical place? Because before, people will ask, why don't you have a physical shop? Why do you have to be online? You understand? So I think for us, COVID has worked to our advantage, has actually made people understand what our business was all about. And that is helping people.
Asha, before you go on, I need all three of you to slow down a bit because of the translators. I got messages that we are speaking too fast. So just slow down a bit for the translators. Sorry, Asha.
No. So basically, I feel that COVID has actually sold our business even more, has made people understand and appreciate what we've been doing all these years. So it's much easier now to talk to people about it and plan yourself and use all the media, whatever we have on the internet. And so looking for people on Facebook or looking for people and present everything online is no longer fraud. We don't have to physically meet for you to believe that I exist. So my company qnet doesn't have to be in Kenya for it to be real. You understand? So for me, I think it's not as bad as what we thought when it started.
No, it's funny because the other day in Dubai, I met a group from Pakistan and they said a lot of the prospects don't believe that Chief, Dato, myself all exist. It's all fake. They created through the internet, these people, So when I met them in Dubai, they had to touch me and take a picture to prove that I'm real. Okay. So it's so funny you said that.
Yes.
Yes, Yashu.
VP Sathi, Corona has been a blessing for me. All the limitations which were happening before the Corona, I was not able to talk to the last person of my team. I was not able to take the plan. I cannot be available for closing. Every limitation has been removed by this term called Corona. I know the world is suffering. And I still remember the day in March 2020, the announcement came, whole world came to the lockdown. And, we all as an upline took a decision. If we we will not take a decision, how will our team will gonna survive? Me, Bijesh, Arpit, Shalu, Surinder, Naeem, we took, and within 2 days, whole network was on a Zoom call. We could able to connect to the last person of the team, and that is a blessing for us, because we were sitting at home and we were not realizing how to connect with the person who is signing up yesterday. So okay,
Slow down.
This gave an opportunity for us to connect with the last person. And VP Sathi, before Corona, everybody has many excuses. I cannot go to system because I have to pay for it. I cannot attend the meeting because there are a lot of traffic. I cannot go to VCon because there are a lot of registration charges, hotel charges, this and that. Now every excuse has been removed. In the corner of the house, they can have a laptop, they can have a good Wi-Fi connect, and they can build their network within the comfort of a house. Now, actually, if we say we are completely e-commerce now, before that, we were not completely e-commerce, right? So Corona has been a blessing for me. And this is what I can say to all the uplines, this is the best opportunity. And so utilize this opportunity, because at this time, it is the easiest business which we can do.
Okay, and now things are slowly going back to how they were prior to Corona. Borders are opening up, people are flying, meetings, physical meetings are happening. How are you going to do it differently when everything is back to normal? Do you have a game plan already?
Yes, I've been planning this again and again over my head. And it's another exciting journey that we're going to take. The online is going to be there. And I think that we can penetrate more, as what AVP Yashu said, that we can penetrate more to the last person that wanting to listen to this amazing opportunity. But then again, to build that relationship, to build a better communication with emotions, I think offline is still the best. I miss hugging and laughing and being crazy with all the in-service. I miss VCon a lot. I miss VP Sathi. Honestly, I miss meeting you and heard this, very short but very amazing words from you. Yes, so I think that, combining offline and online, it's going to be a very powerful, how do you say, it's going to be a very, very powerful things to build this industry into to the new level. So it's going to be a lot of upgrades, and I'm looking forward into it.
Excellent.
Yes, VP Sathi, we have a plan of action, but the Zoom thing will continue, because the Zoom thing, we can connect to the last person of the team. Obviously, we can give it to a physical touch. We can go and meet to the person, but this will continue. As the chief also said, there will be 2 VCon. One is physical VCon and one is VCon on Zoom. So we will also do in the same manner.
And also that, the talk of the towns must continue online.
I don't think so much would change, because really COVID coming and us moving to a different way of doing business has definitely taught us that there's much more we can do with whatever we call soul limitation. So I think for me, this will definitely continue. Yes, there are things that would want physical, maybe I would say maybe some of our events, not so much about the people that we meet and talk to or the way we do our business, because I still feel this one removes all the limitations that we usually put. You understand that I'm coming from work, it's late, there's so much of traffic and all those things. So in terms of continue doing the business, I still believe this is the best. Only when it comes to our event, where we have to physically come and see everyone and have that heart-to-heart hugs like AVP Cynthia was talking about. Those are the only thing that I think would be different. But 80 to 90% will continue, because I don't see anything better than what we've been given freely. I mean, the whole thing has taught us that there's a better way where you can reach everyone, and there's no excuse to why you cannot be there at that time.
Now, what would your advice be to someone who comes and tells you that this business is too difficult? I'm sure you've heard this before.
Now, let me start. This talk about the business being difficult. If someone tells me like that, actually, makes me very sad, because when I look at my life, when I look at the things that should have been difficult for me to succeed, I mean, I had so many reasons in my life that this will not work for me. So for me, what I think is important is when people say that it's too difficult, I really tell them to really go back to the reality. I mean, be honest with yourself. Be honest and ask yourself what you've gone through all your life. Has that been easy? Because when we say it's difficult, what has been easy? Is it going to school? Has it been easy? Is your day-to-day life, has it been easy? Now, for me, I use this as an example for myself, because nothing that I know as a child to the time I joined qnet was easy for me. Nothing has been easy. So for me, I find that question very difficult, because for me, the easiest life I've had based on the efforts I've made has been this industry. You understand? So I cannot understand. And for me, the simple answer for people that when they say this is difficult, I say, please be honest with yourself. Be honest. If you're earning a salary today, even if you're a CEO, how much have you had to do? It doesn't begin when you go to a job. You know, if you look at your 8 hours of work, that's not where your hard work began. The difficulty or the hard work began when you were a small child, going to a baby class to prepare yourself so that after so many years of education, you can go out there and look for a job that will start paying you. Now, is that life easy? I don't think so. I really don't think so, because it takes so much more effort for you to be where you are outside there. But when you come to our industry, what I tell people, you don't have to sacrifice 20 years of your life in school. You don't have to sacrifice another 8 hours every day to earn nothing. Just a few hours of your day, a few hours, sincere. Just be honest and have that values and integrity, and there is nothing that can stop you with just a few hours dedicated to building your future or changing your future or making life for the people you love different. For me, and even the thought that I'm going to change lives of people. For example, let me start with my own family. Just the thought that this vehicle is going to give my mother a better life, is going to give my brothers a better life, because those have been my focus before I had my own kids. Knowing that today, I don't have to worry about my children and my grandchildren just by giving a few hours every day. And it doesn't have to take a lifetime. I mean, if you look at the success in our company, it only takes a few years of dedication and honesty. And really, it cannot be difficult. For me, I think that's a message that I give people. Nothing can be harder than what you've done in the past. And I guarantee them also that what you've done in the past is definitely going to be harder. But what we do here, if you believe in this system, is going to be a walk in, for me, I would say it was a walk in the park in comparison to what I've done in the past, to what I achieved in the past, to what I have done now, and the success of what I have today.
Excellent. Cynthia, do you have people coming and telling you this business is too hard?
A lot, VP Sathi. But, you know, I mean, listening to AVP Asha, he said all, you know, I couldn't be agree, you know, yeah, it's well spoken. So yes, what I say is exactly what AVP Asha said.
Okay,
qnet
excellent.
is the easiest way to live and earn.
VP Sathi, nothing is easy. I don't know, you know, how the people say, but nothing in this life is easy. Till we are alive, nothing will gonna be easy. But one thing I can say, I know this business is difficult, but it is doable. It is not walk in the park. And when you entered the business, what you thought? What was your thinking at that point in time? Do you think this journey will gonna finish in 1 year or 2 years? No, but doable. If I'm saying doable, you need to do 2-3 things. First is you need to be in association with your working upline. Keep talking to your working upline on daily basis. No, 2 to 3 hours of association, attending training, attending PTS, attending VCell, attending VCon. If we are doing this consistently for next 4 to 5 years, we would be able to achieve for which we started this business. And you know, if then also anybody thinks it is difficult, sit, relax, and you know, think in your mind why you started this journey. You started this journey to make 1 or 2 check, or you started this journey to max out and to achieve your dreams.
Okay, and the 3 of you are mothers. So how did you balance network marketing and being a mother?
For me, balancing being a mother was not as hard because when I got QNet, my both daughters were outside, they were in Malaysia pursuing their degrees. So of course, for me, I had the time. The only thing I had to balance is the talk, like it was not my immediate family because my girls were not with me. Of course, was the balancing was now balancing my other family, like let's say my brothers or anybody else or my mom, because they felt that I was very antisocial. I was no longer attending functions. I was no longer paying attention to weddings or funerals and things like that. I think for me, that was the only challenge that actually I had to overcome. But I've always been a fighter, and I think my family knows. They call me once I decide, nobody can stop me. So for me, it was basically managing those emotions. And of course, though my girls were not there, but my mom and my brothers, who are the people that I'm very close to, are very, very important for me. And of course, it was now making them understand that I needed to do this, and this had to be done. But the thing that actually helped me was, in my family, I've always been the first to do things and show them the way. So the trust level on what I want to do, and if I've decided to do that, I'm going to do it. I think that definitely did help me. So for me, balancing as a mother did not come so much of a challenge. But of course, the society, again, because I was no longer attending dinners, lunches, going out with friends to have coffee, I did not have that kind of time unless we are meeting to talk business, because that was my priority. And because I did that, the same people who were so against me, I mean, those who talk behind my back that, oh, look at her, she doesn't value anything anymore. Today, actually, they appreciate, because they can see by doing this and being persistent with what I want has taken me so far. And means me going far meant my family going far, and the people that I'm close to also went far. So I would say for me that that would be my experience in terms of being a mother. Okay, one thing I would say is that I remember when my children came for holidays back home, which were rare because we couldn't afford them to come in every year or every holidays. So it was like maybe it was quite a while when they came. And I remember, and it was VC Swana who was so angry when she came home, because when she came, the only thing I was on the phone, someone was in my house and there was no time for them. And she always wondered, can't you at least spare or at least give up what you're doing? Because they had not seen the results yet. I mean, the bigger picture of this company, they say, can't you at least spend some time with us? We have not been there, but though you seem to be in the house, but you're not really there because you're always busy with other people or you are always on the phone. But again, like I pushed myself, I did not allow that to pull me down, but because of taking that, they appreciate more. So what I would tell people that when you have people like that in your life, don't pay so much attention, because if you allow that, you are not going to reach where you want. What I would say is that do it as much as you can. Show them through your action and the results that you get to what this actually meant, because it is through that they will also take charge of their lives in the same way, instead of wanting to socialize and continue a life as if everything is okay. Everything is not okay. We have to accept things are not okay. But unless someone is bold enough out there to do things in spite of all the voices which come out from there, nothing is going to be achieved.
Okay. And Cynthia and Yashu, you had your child while building the business, yes?
Yes, VP Sathi, Champion was born when I started the business.
Okay.
5th year of the business. And in the initial stages, it was not easy for me. And when I traveled for the first time to one of the event, he was only 4 months of age. And, it was difficult for me also as a mother, and for my parents also. And for the relatives, we all know, people labeled me as she's a bad mother. Now she has everything. And that point in time, as if I was maxing out consistently, then also everybody has a question. Now you have money. Now why are you leaving your child behind? But I know, because at that point in time, Champion may not be remembering whether I was with him, I was feeding him or not. But when he'll grow old, he will remember what his mother has did for him. Actually, we are whatever mother is doing, mother always does for his child. And since the lockdown, everything has become so easy. Now at home, your children are playing Champion plays. I can easily talk on Zoom and build the network. So now it has become really easy, but in the initial stages, it was really difficult. And the one problem happens when the mother has a guilt in the heart. When mother takes all the blame, why I'm leaving my child, and he bears all the guilt in the heart, problem happens then. It is very, it is normal if you leave your child, build network and do the business, because ultimately we are doing for our children, nobody else.
Yes. For me, VP Sathi, qnet came into my life first, then the child. As what AVP Yashu said, it wasn't easy in the beginning, especially living in Australia. I didn't have my parents, I didn't have other family to actually help me to take care of my daughter. But then as the time goes by, as the older she becomes, then it's a beautiful thing. Because see, throughout my journey in qnet, I've been looking for somebody who like me, who is like me, and suddenly, there she is, she gotta be, at least half of me. So the relationship that I have with my daughter is it's not only a daughter, but I respect her, I regard her as my, my partner for life. So as the children gets older, I learned a lot from her. I learned a lot from, what I used to be when I was younger. And I don't know, I mean, talking about difficulties, I almost forgot how difficult it was, VP Sathi, because I think that every day I was trying to survive, from one day to the next day, aiming for something better and higher. And all of you inspires me. So, I didn't have time to really sit down and, being mellow, being, sensitive about, problems and all that. So yeah, now that we talk here today, I just remembered that, there were difficult times. There were times when I was crying because I couldn't manage, but again, everything manageable, and time goes by, and, and thank God that I am actually in qnet.
Can I add one thing, VP Sathi, which I want to tell the viewers, is that, we all know that almost 90% of the women are working today. And working means you have to leave your family from very early. In my country, traffic is hell. So if people have to report at 8 o'clock in the morning, they leave their homes at 6 in the morning. Some of the children have to be dropped to school. They can't, they have to go by buses and things like that. So that means everybody is already away from their family. Now, I don't see what is so different in terms of what we have to do in this. To the contrary, at least for us, we bring something tangible. That means what we bring home with what we do with the time that we put in, people can retire much easily. I mean, people can relax after some time, because what you make can sustain, what you make in 2-3 years can sustain your family for the next 10 years, opposed to you waking up every day and leaving your children from 6 o'clock in the morning. And because of traffic in my country, even if you're working for 8 hours, it takes you 12 to 14 hours between the time you leave home to the time you actually come back. And even we have people who work as nurses or work in the hotel industry. Women even have to work shifts at night. So what happens in that case? It's even longer. They are away when they are really needed. Some parents, I know some ladies are very good friends of mine who work in the hospitals. They never see their children because they are working night shift. When they come in the morning, the children have already been prepared by their house helps to go to school. And really, so I don't really see what is it that is so challenging for us as women to go out there and do what we do. To the contrary, we bring much more, I would say, with much less time compared to what other women are already doing out there, living there. I know people who never see their children at all because they're always on shifts.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about step number 7, which is council upline. I know it's different for Cynthia and Yashu because you are with your uplines, but for Asha, your upline is thousands of miles away and you don't see him as much, so how often do you speak to VP Cherian, and how important is it to speak to him often?
Of course, it's very, very important to speak to your upline, your working upline. Yes, my upline has always been out, and yes, has always been a challenge. But of course, because my upline was out there and not with me all the time, it made me grow up and become less dependent. Because I know a lot of people, when they always have an excuse saying that, oh, I can't do this because my upline is not there. And I'm sure many people feel their uplines, their downlines are always complaining that they are not enough with them. Now, for me, that complaint couldn't have been there because I was already very fun. That, for me personally, made me grow and take charge of my business. And whenever I need, I go to my upline for counseling or, maybe for help in different ways, not babysitted by my uplines. You understand? I know that everything needs to be done by me. My upline cannot do what I need to do. So counseling with him is only taking me to the next level or how to improve myself, because we also, for us, learning is always there. And my upline, of course, has been through this journey much more. His experience is much more. And I need to consult for my personal growth for me. But when it comes to my partners, they have to do, I look at myself and I say, even if I'm not there physically with you, you can do it, because I have succeeded in spite that my upline was not there. But yes, you need to consult, not to babysit. You don't expect babysitting, because a lot of our partners tend to use an excuse that you are not there, or it's because of you that I couldn't make it, or you're too busy with other people, or maybe you're paying more attention to this group of people and not to us. I said, for you, if you want something, you have to seek. If I need something, I need to seek. I need to go up and seek. So there is no excuse at all. So yes, communication, nothing stops. We all are into, calls and that doesn't stop. We can spend hours, but that is for my own personal growth. That's not something that I use for others. Now, for the others, you have to do what you need to do. If you need your upline is always going to be there for you but not to come and babysit you and take baby steps with you and expect that your upline has to be always there for you to succeed. You understand? For me, I think I'm a good example that you don't need your upline physically for you to succeed, because it makes you grow. It's like how we say, if you pamper, if you're with your kids too much, they will never mature and become who they need to be. You need to let go. And I'm glad that my situation was like that, because of that, I was able to grow more. But of course, yes, I do value my communication with my upline and that counseling with him whenever I need. And that has never stopped, because if I did not have that line, of course, I also need someone to talk to. And like we say, you cannot go and speak to your partners down there. You need someone up there for you to discuss. And I think that is very, very important.
Okay. And Cynthia and Yashu, you have anything to add?
Having my father as my upline, it's great, but you see, like for me, it's the comfort zone, you see, because it's a father.
So it's Coach A.
Sorry?
The father is Coach A.
Not really. He's actually more to the Coach B, VP Sathi. So you see, like, for instance, I make a commitment that I'm going to start my Mauna, you see. And the next day, because I slept too early, so I woke up, late. And then there he is, at the same house. And he know what time I wake up. So, but you see, I think that respect is the foundations of any relationship. So the moment I understand this, VP Sathi, that it doesn't matter whether it's a father or a guru or anybody, but if I put that respect as the relationship between the uplines and the downlines, then the relationship is going to be there. And the respect basically will lead me to know what to do, like to keep the communications, to updates, and whatever necessary.
Okay.
Yes.
And VP Sathi, upline, because of the upline, we are what we are today. Because he's one person who can guide us at every step of life. Now, apart from that, it is important for us also whether we are following what he's saying or not. Physical presence doesn't, it is not important, because now we have Zoom, we have WhatsApp calling. There are many ways through which we get connected to the working upline. And that will only happen if I really take a decision. I want to successful and I want to move in this journey forward. And, if we give any choice to us, whether to follow one upline or two upline, you should decide one working upline, submit him 100% and follow what he is saying, so that you don't have any choice rather to be successful.
And,
okay,
and also,
so, yes.
I would like to add to this. See, a lot of people thinking that upline is somebody who is responsible for their success. And I think that this is where the upline-downline relationship becomes wrong. See, well, to me, upline is somebody that God sent here to my life to actually help me achieving the success that I want. It's like a blessing. It's a guardian. Not somebody that's supposed, not somebody that's supposed to be responsible for my life. See, and and the moment we think about it, the gratitude will be there, the respect will be there, and the relationship is just, it's as smooth as what it can be.
Okay, well, it has been so insightful listening to three powerful ladies, three powerful networkers, I should say. Okay, and now I want you to give your closing message to all our viewers here out today in Talk of the Town. So we'll start with you, Yashu. Your closing message to everybody.
My closing message to each one of those who are listening to us is, we are part of this beautiful journey. So don't waste your time in cribbing and crying why I am here, why I'm not able to do it. You can do it. Important is take a decision. You want to do it. If you take a decision, sit back, relax and sleep, crib and cry, nothing will gonna work because nothing is easy. If you really wants to be successful, do it. Roll up your sleeves, be on the ground, do it, and be committed to your dream and be committed to your decision. And to do that, be in association, follow your working uplines, and don't give up. Problem happens because nobody fails in this business. Problem happens when we give up. And there is another message to all the ladies, you can do best. You can do best. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't fall in the guilt. You have a baby, you have a husband to take care, you have a child to take care. This business is like your second baby. If a mother has a one baby and he has a second baby, she doesn't sit and crib and cry why I have a second baby. It's like that. So make this business as your family business and do it with the heart.
Excellent message. Thank you, Yashu. Cynthia?
Yes, thank you, VP Sathi. For all people that listen to this, we are in a very, very great vehicles. For the last 21 years, I couldn't find anything better than this opportunity that we have today. And the thing is that this qnet is actually growing. It's moving forwards. So my motto in life is that, life is always going forward. It's never going back, or it's never, stagnant. So, keep moving forwards, because life will come at us in waves. But the thing is that we cannot control that wave, but we can always learn how to surf, because the day we can know how to surf, then whatever waves comes to us, it's like dancing on the wave. So, again, never give up. And the message that always I put in my mind all the times is that always get up again, get up again, get up again, and get up again. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. And finally, Asha, your message to everyone.
Okay, my message today will be, stop looking for reasons to why you're not succeeding. Look for reasons to why you need to succeed. Because most of us waste a lot of time in looking for reasons why we are not. If you focus on why you need to do this, you will definitely do it. There'll be many things that will come on your way. But if you focus on your success and why you're doing it, nothing will ever stop you. Because this is your journey. And this is your journey alone. You don't need anybody for this. The only person that should be present every day in your business, because this is your business and it needs to be done every day. Get up every day and do this business like there is no tomorrow. Because any other reasons that you have will only be an excuse that will make you regret for the rest of your life. So for me, is do it now or never. You do or you die. There is no any other way. But keep in mind that if you don't succeed, it's not just you who is going to be affected, but a lot of people that you claim to love and care for will suffer because of you. So keep thinking of that every day when you wake up in the morning. That is my closing message.
Thank you. Beautiful messages and beautiful lessons, ladies. And I hope that many of the people listening today will get their click and get their doubts cleared or questions answered.
One more
and
thing
I'm
I want
sure.
to add.
Yes.
So I want to add one more thing.
Yes.
Now, I know we're in a business and we want to succeed quickly. One thing that you need to keep in mind, your integrity. making sure that everything that you present about this business is the truth, nothing but the truth. Because the only thing that we have that we are selling to people out there is ourselves. So if you're in a hurry to make money and then you go there and telling people things which are not true, I think you're not only messing for yourself, but your generations to come will suffer because of that. So please maintain the integrity of this business. Let's showcase our company, our business through what we talk and what we show, and the rest will follow. I just wanted to add that.
Very good. Excellent. So thank you so much, Asha. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Yashu. You know, I pray that you be safe and that we meet physically very soon. Yashu will be very soon, I know.
Yes, yes. I'm
Asha and Cynthia, we will meet one day somewhere, you know.
Yeah, looking forward sooner.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, VP.
And
Thank you so much,
all-
VP Sathi.
Thank
all
you,
the
VP
best
Sathi, for having
and all
us.
the best.
Thank you so much.
All the
Thank you.
blessings and all the best to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, there you have it. There you have it. 1.5 hours spent with 3 amazing networkers. And I hope that you have had many of your questions answered. And I hope that many of you even got a click this evening. Okay, just remember that this is your business. And I want to emphasize again what Asha said in the end, that build the business with integrity and you will have a lifetime of income coming in. Okay, be honest, be truthful about the business, about the opportunity, and build with integrity. Okay, thank you so much, guys. There's a survey after this. Please complete the survey and I will see you at the next Talk of the Town. Thank you.